So welcome. I don't know. Hey, Mags. What episode is this?
I have not got a fucking clue. I'd say 60.
81.
81. See, Matt comes through with the save. Welcome to the Blade Job. My name is Ryan. I am your gracious host today, and I'm joined with the same two people that I'm always joined by, because even though they live on the other side of the great Atlantic Ocean, they're able to be on time whenever I ask them to, because they're good. And Matt is doing some weird shit.
Matt is working.
But he also has time to record a podcast. So when Scott Perkins says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I got my kids, I gotta watch my kids," well, hold on, bring them down. They can be part of the show. It's fine.
If I may say, a good friend of ours has their son on his show. Anyway.
That is very true. They have a bonding experience together. However, on their show, they don't say horrible, horrible things. Horrible things.
Not in the edited one, we don't, but in the original one, we probably did.
You hear the filth come out of Jackson's mouth sometimes.
Oh, God, that kid. So let's start with, you can follow myself at The Blade Job Show. Mags, where can they follow you?
You can follow me at DAJ Kirkby.
And Matt?
You can follow me at the Matt Attack UK and loads of other places as well, but that's the main one.
Fantastic. Now we're going to start with something that we talked about last week, and just because I want to start
Before we do, I need to make an apology.
Okay.
I have strict instructions from someone to read this from a leaflet, so bear with me, okay? My lawyers have instructed me to read this memo. Melissa, I am apologising for cutting you off and being rude by saying the word, "It's just my opinion," every single time. Okay, is that enough for you, Graham? Okay, back to the matter at hand. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm going to start an argument right off the bat. Which one of you jerks, and I mean you jerks, talking to me right now, was so goddamn convinced because fucking Uncle Derv shithead had made it clear that NXT was going to FS1?
What?
It was probably me.
It was you.
FS1?
It was me. Fox Sports 1. It's almost like USA, but just Fox and Sporty.
Owned by a different company with a completely different format, and apparently one of their hosts was 24/7 champion for a minute. I don't know.
Details.
The details were...
TV.
It is, but this is completely different. This is something that where they already have a working relationship, and USA for the most part is hands off on their what they want out of WWE's programming, whereas Fox has made it very clear that when SmackDown goes to Fox, they expect changes. And I think that's what was scary about the idea of NXT going to a Fox branded channel, because Fox would put their dirty little hands in everything and try to change it, whereas USA for the most part just goes, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. I mean, clearly they don't give a shit, because look at Raw and SmackDown.
So was Raw and SmackDown both on USA?
They are now.
Well,
yes,
they are now, but when they switch over, just Raw is staying on USA, and then
yes.
Raw and NXT will be on USA. Yeah.
So NXT is like, basically, we're sorry for taking SmackDown away. Here's a replacement.
And that's one hell of a replacement, isn't it?
It's from what I understand, the amount of money that was thrown at WWE to bring SmackDown to Fox was in the billions.
Ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculous.
It was $1 billion, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was $1 or $2 billion. I forget what it was. It was a lot. I mean, it was money where I don't care what your company is, and I don't care if Vince thought that the sport of professional wrestling was the most closely protected thing in the universe, he would still take the $2 billion to do this.
I haven't got a problem with him moving it. I've got more a problem with the fact that SmackDown, since it was inaugurated back in 1999, we're talking 20 years ago, it's always been filmed on a Tuesday, no matter what time it's aired. This is logistically a nightmare. I mean, they must have figured out by now how to do it.
Well,
But
it's not. I don't think it's as big of an issue as you'd think, because historically speaking, WWE wrestlers work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and they're off Wednesday and Thursday. So this doesn't really change anything for the touring brand. Instead of doing a house show on Friday night, they're going to be doing SmackDown instead. The Raw brand will still be doing their house show on a Friday night. So it doesn't really change much, and considering NXT is not touring, they don't give a shit. All they got to do is work for an extra. They don't even. They have to work more often, as opposed to doing a TV taping and then just doing house shows.
And they've all got new bumped up deals because of the TV rights.
Oh yeah,
absolutely,
sure.
That's great for them. They've earned that, in my opinion.
But the thing is, have they?
Well, some of them have deserved main roster call-up for years and haven't had them.
I think
Team Dream not on the main roster
because he'll be destroyed.
but now he is main roster because they're on it. They're on USA.
Well, I guess that's the conversation to be had. Does this make NXT? Because does it make it the true third brand? Because they've always referenced it as the black and gold brand, the third brand. But they've also been very clear that it to them is developmental. But I think we're seeing a transition where NXT is no longer developmental. The Performance Center is developmental.
Well, This is what I was going to say. Sorry to cut you off, Mags. I am. I was going to say to you, this is the death of developmental, and Triple H ain't be running. Triple H won't be running NXT.
I don't agree.
I guarantee you, by the end of the year, NXT will have the grubby mitts of VKM all over it, and you can pretty much guarantee it'll be a 2-hour ECW from back in 2009. If we're lucky.
That I won't dispute as hard, but I don't think it's the death of developmental. I just think it means that companies like Evolve and Progress are going to become the developmental brands. I think NXT UK is going to become a developmental brand. I think the push for NXT Japan and NXT Mexico are going to become the developmental brands, and they're going to feed the 3-tier main roster now.
Which, I mean, it stands to reason that something like that probably will happen. But I mean, the whole idea of developmental has always been there. NXT was just bringing it inside. It was bringing it under the umbrella and making money off of developmental, as opposed to
exactly what it was.
OVW and Deep South when they were, or even FCW for the most part before it became NXT, was very much its own thing. We pretty much own it, but we don't. And I think that you're right that we'll see that with Evolve and Progress a little bit more, because they have these working partnerships, but at the same time, both owners have made it very clear that they're not looking to sell. That's the one thing that they've said is we're not looking to sell to WWE, but we also know that it's a symbiotic relationship. If we play nice with WWE and act as their developmental, then we're going to get the promotion. I mean, how huge was it for Evolve to be on the network? That's huge because most people didn't know who they were.
Yeah, it's massive. But I'm sure there were rumors flying around when Progress got into bed with WWE that WWE retained rights to purchase. Basically, they could buy out Progress whenever they see fit. And
I remember seeing that, but I also remember the owner shooting that down very quickly and being like, "That is not what our agreement is. Our agreement is."
The owner's now left the company and signed full time for NXT UK. So maybe his viewpoint is a little bit askew.
That's true, and maybe he just saw the opportunity to, get the hell out of, the bingo halls, as it were. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, 'cause obviously I'm a huge fan of independent wrestling. I'm a huge fan of the bingo hall wrestling. I like that stuff. You get a lot different of an experience there. But at the same time, I don't care who you are, whether you're a commentator, a wrestler, whether you're a man or woman, or if you're a referee or backstage personnel, your goal in professional wrestling typically is to get to WWE.
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
Absolutely. All power to Jim. He's had that opportunity to work with the biggest company in wrestling, and he would have been a fool to not take that. And the way he's gone about it as well, I think he's been really professional about it. He's come out and said that's his plan. He's come out and said, I'm going to be on till Progress 100. So, yeah, I've got full respect for him for doing that. I'm sure...
I'm thinking about...
No, there's no, but honestly, there is not. I don't think there's any downside to it. He's carried Progress as far as it could probably take him, and being under the WWE umbrella can only help Progress until WWE sees fit to close it down.
I love the
slamming. I wouldn't think it. I don't see it being beneficial to anyone to shut Progress down at any point.
No, I'm not saying that's even in the very distant future, but when there's always that option, it's like a dark cloud, like forever on the horizon.
WWE, excuse me. WWE has also.
What, Matt? What the fuck?
This is going to be the worst show we've ever done.
I'm sorry.
Do we have the way to just mute Matt's audio?
I'd like to say I'm sorry, but I'm making soup right now.
With a mallet. You're making soup with a mallet.
I won't make any more bit banging noise, I swear.
He swears. All right, Matt Attack. Can I adjust his volume from here? I don't think I can. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's one of those things where WWE has slowed down on their we buy everyone mentality, because for a long time they just were. Even if they weren't buying promotions necessarily, if they were buying archived footage and stuff like that, they've kind of slowed down on that. I think a lot of it comes from they bought WCW and they bought ECW, they're their main competition, and it didn't really make them money like they wanted it to. Obviously the WCW and the ECW footage on the network is a selling point, but the rebranded ECW was really solid for like 6 months, and then it just kind of it became another WWE brand. WCW, they tried to do the same thing. They tried to kind of relaunch WCW within, because that was the initial plan, as far as I understand, is that whole invasion angle and WCW being a brand within WWE was supposed to lead to them relaunching WCW as its own thing, run by Paul or Shane or whoever, and it was going to do its own thing, and it was going to be a competing brand. And that didn't work. So they didn't make the kind of money that they expected to off of the ECW and WCW brands. And NXT was, I think, the evolution of that, where they said, well, okay, hold on. What if we just take our developmental guys that we're training that are already good, most of them come from the indies, they already know how to wrestle, and we start putting them in front of people, whether it's house shows, whether it's just live events, instead of just having them train in a gym and eventually coming to WWE, why don't we utilize them while we have them? And I think it was just a much better idea. And it's actually my biggest concern with AEW is they don't have any sort of, their developmental is the indies. And you're going to see a lot of conflicting styles, and not necessarily in the good way, I don't think. Once again, to be seen, but since they're still allowing their guys to work elsewhere, they're already running into problems with Moxley being injured. You know, this shows why you can't just let your guys work wherever they want.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, they shot themselves in the foot. They've been billing. Literally, his debut was to lead to this match, and now they can't have this match when they wanted to. And, you know, I think Pac and Omega are going to put on a fantastic match. I think that's going to be great. I think that might actually steal the night. But
meh.
It just shows you that, you know, there's like people complain like, oh, WWE doesn't let their guys work elsewhere. It's like, well, no shit. They're paying them, you know, even your low paid main roster guys, a lot of them are making six figures. Like, you're going to have them. I thought you said no more slamming. Yeah.
I said I'd be no more slamming in the kitchen. I'm in the back room.
You son of a bitch.
My fridge door has to close.
All these caveats to Matt slamming, it's ridiculous.
Slam, slam, slam. Slamity, slam, slam, slam. Who the fuck is... Oh, it's Mags. Okay. Oh, wait, no, it's my other Discord channel.
I have a controversial opinion.
Go for it. I love controversial.
I have a controversial opinion. I couldn't give a fuck about the Moxley issue, and I couldn't give a fuck about Pac versus what's his name, Omega.
But why?
Yeah, couldn't give a fuck.
Even the more
because I think Pac's overrated for a start.
Ooh,
I think Pac is overrated as fuck.
His stuff since leaving the WWE has been some of the best wrestling I've seen.
I didn't hate him.
I think he's overrated.
I liked him in NXT. And I liked him on the main roster, even though he was never used properly. I've watched a lot of his stuff, but definitely not anywhere near all of his stuff since he's been on the indies. I like the new character. Because everyone's like, oh, he got to the indies and he had this amazing new character. No, it was essentially the King of the Cruiserweight character. There was not a huge amount of difference.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty much the same thing he was doing in WWE when they released him. But overrated, I can agree with you like 50%. Like, I don't think he's a main eventer.
That's more than I was expecting.
You know, I think that he is a high mid-carder at best. I mean, he's good. He's not great. He's, you know, I mean, he's better than Cody Rhodes, but that's not saying much. Generous. I probably am, just because I enjoy his moveset, but I feel like he's also a performer where if he's not in the ring with the right person, he does not shine. He's kind of like Cena has become, where Cena can put on the proverbial 5-star match if he has the right opponent. And I think that Pac is kind of similar to that, where if you put him in the ring with the right person, he's going to blow the roof off that place. But that's not what is going to happen if he sticks around. He's going to be stuck in matches with people who he just doesn't meld with. Like his match, everyone said that his match with Hangman was like phenomenal, and I watched it and it wasn't. Like, it was an okay match. It was a WWE mid-card match. There was nothing special about that. And I think Hangman Page is the next huge wrestling star. Like, I think that Hangman Page can be the next Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think he'd be the next Rock. I think he has the charisma and he has the in-ring ability to skyrocket. And I hope AEW doesn't fuck that up, which they won't, because he's one of their buddies, so he's going to get pushed to the moon. They're only going to fuck it up in the sense of they're so focused on the elite, and I feel like a lot of other guys and gals are going to kind of be left in the dust. It's just, we've already seen it with Brandy, and you know, I know she's not technically a member of the elite, but she is. You know, she's part of that group, and they keep pushing her, and she sucks. She's just not good. And, you know, you have this female talent that can just blow her out of the water, and they're not being utilized. Like, there was Riho, and what was the other woman's name? The little Japanese woman. Yuki something. Anyways, I'm blanking. They have been in these matches that have just kind of been like exhibition matches. There's no real point to them. It's just an exhibition. It's just one-on-one, triple threat, whatever it may be. And there's no storyline surrounding them. They're not building them into anything yet. And I don't know what their deals are. I don't know if they're official signees of AEW or if they're just on loan from Stardom or Shine or whoever. I just think that I don't, you know, the way you feel about Pac, I feel about Brandy. I just don't give a shit. I don't care. She's irrelevant, and all she's doing, she's Shane McMahon. She's taking a spot from someone who deserves it much more.
Yeah, but if you say that on
I've never
Twitter,
rated him.
Who? Brandy Rhodes?
No, I've never rated him. I've never rated Pac. I didn't think he was good in WWE. I didn't think he was worthy of a main roster place.
And honestly,
it's my opinion. It's going on a t-shirt.
It's just my opinion, guys.
Apologies to Melissa again.
It's I don't know, and I think that, I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't 100% disagree with you. I can see his talent in him. I just don't think I don't think he's going to do any better in AEW than he did in WWE. It's just the way it is. I mean, WWE is a different beast because they don't know how to push people who are talented because of one thing or the other. Because for Vince, and this is very clearly for Vince, there's like a 10 point like bullet point list of what makes a superstar for him. And if you miss one of those points, you're never going to make it anywhere. You know, you have, you know, people who have kind of moved past that, like Daniel Bryan, like CM Punk, who kind of broke Vince's mold, but he wasn't happy about it in any way. And he made sure that it didn't last.
And on that list of 10 points, wrestling is pretty far down the list.
Oh, that's like number 9.
Yeah.
You know,
don't have to be even remotely a good wrestler to be successful.
Vince McMahon's blueprint of a professional wrestler looks a lot like a basic white bitch Tinder profile, where they have to be over 6 feet. You know, they have to have chiseled abs. They have to make more than $100,000 a year. Like, it's just, he's so focused on, and the thing is that, and that's the thing that bothers me, is he has his prototypical superstar, someone that he himself pushed in Drew McIntyre, and they're still not doing anything with him. Yeah, and it makes no sense to me. Like, I've been a fan of Drew McIntyre since 3-Man Band. I mean, even before that. I love Drew McIntyre. I think he's just entertaining as hell. And he's fucking Shane's lackey.
He's massively underused.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure. He could do so much for that company. I mean, his run in NXT when he came back was brilliant. It was a thing of beauty. Just the way he was booked, because he was booked by someone who understands professional wrestling. And you got NXT's run by Triple H and William Regal. You know, and then you've got Shawn Michaels behind the scene. You've got, you know, Matt Bloom. Like, you've got these guys who just get it. And that's why NXT is so good. And then you get to main roster and everyone's like, hey, I've got a great idea. And Vince goes, nah, fuck it. I don't like that. And it's just like, what are you doing, dude? Like, I mean, I get it that Vince has this weird over obsession with working 24 hours a day. But if I'm running a company, I'm delegating. You know, you guys figure this out. This is kind of the reason the Attitude Era worked so well, because the wrestlers were doing their own thing because Vince didn't know what to do to beat WCW. So,
I said pretty much the same thing. That sounds so ridiculous. I said pretty much the same thing on the Ricky and Clive show this week. If people think that Vince McMahon doesn't have any kind of say in NXT, they're absolutely deluded. But what does happen is he delegates that part to it. Now, what everyone would like him to do is delegate more of Raw and SmackDown, where he has the vision for his company and where he wants it to go, but he has like the middle management fulfilling that vision.
All he needs to do is say, hey, I want Roman to be champion, make it happen, and I guarantee between the writer room and Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns himself, they could come up with a fantastic way to get that title on him. But instead, Vince goes, no, just do it this way.
Oh, I think the way is they'll go with him and they'll bring up a story or they'll bring up an angle, and he's like, yeah, that's brilliant, but do this, and this, and this instead, and then they're having to rewrite that, and it becomes the Vince thing rather than what he asked them to do in the first place.
You know, a great example of I think, you know, what you just said would be have either of you seen the seminal film Alien Resurrection?
No.
So it's the fourth film in Alien.
Yes.
And personally I like it, even though it's cheesy as shit, but everyone wondered, like, how did this movie turn out this way? The movie was written by Joss Whedon, the same guy who did the first Avengers movie. He did Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He did Angel, Firefly, Dollhouse. Like, I mean, the dude knows how to, especially a strong female lead. Like, he's really good at that. And how did that happen? And he pretty much said, he goes, if you watch that movie, that's technically my script. But they changed so many little things and added so many little things and removed so many little things that it's unrecognizable for the script that they would have shot if they just followed my script. Yeah. And that just shows you that how that, like, you know, the director came in and just said, no, I want to do the movie this way. He's some stupid French guy. And it's just like... That's
the worst French accent than mine.
Well, I mean, aren't French people usually just having strokes from all the baguettes? It's too many carbs. You gotta take it down a notch.
Mild racism.
No, it's nationalism, because I am white and French people are traditionally white. Yeah, a little bit. You know, I mean, I've the only time I've been to Paris, I was treated very poorly. So, fuck them.
Fuck them.
Yeah, fuck them. Nobody gives a shit about you French bastards. As all of our French listeners are having aneurysms right now.
Sacre bleu.
Yeah, I know, right? It'd be like if I was talking shit about the British, which I would never do. I have nothing but respect for the people of all of the United Kingdom. I guess. I don't know. I have no joke to follow this up on, so I'm just going to move on.
I'm going to move on before you dig that hole in deeper.
The only British person I make fun of consistently is Graham. Mainly because he just does that weird Mike Tyson laughing gif, and then you move on.
Yeah, but it doesn't count as British anymore.
Oh, that's Mike Tyson!
What? You didn't know that gif
I genuinely did not know that was... No, I genuinely did not know who that was.
That's the biggest reveal on this show ever.
It really is. It you know what? Series over. We're done. We're retiring.
I don't do boxing. I haven't got a clue. I don't do that.
Here's the thing.
Handy thing.
Mike Tyson. I've never seen a Mike Tyson boxing match. I don't know him from boxing. I know him from the fact that he has ingrained himself in pop culture as an insane person.
And he was also very good in The Hangover.
Yeah, he's all right. I don't really care for those movies. I thought they were... The first one was like a passable comedy film, and the second two were just the same movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's neither here nor there. I just think that if Vince really wanted to fix things, but that's the thing, is I don't think Vince wants to fix it. He doesn't think anything's broken. Because
if my company was getting TV deals in the billions, I would think, fuck those loudmouth pricks on Twitter. I'm clearly in the right. I'm making a shitload of money.
Vince McMahon just made $50 million to have someone else put his developmental trainees on TV.
Right.
No, you can argue he's right, but at the same time, moving over to Fox is going to be, I think, a kick in Vince's dick.
You could argue he's absolutely right.
No, you can, but when Fox's advertisers are saying, why are ratings so low? Fox isn't USA, because USA is pretty much a reruns channel in the US. It pretty much shows syndicated NCIS and CSI reruns and Law and Order. WWE is like their only real money maker. Fox not need WWE.
Yeah, and WWE doesn't technically need Fox, because if the Fox deal does shit the bed and they end up dropping, they've got a home coming to USA.
See, I don't know.
Take them back.
I don't know, because when you're talking $2 billion, that's not just a licensing deal. That's not just a network deal. I feel like there's something more. And we all know how Fox can be with their big products. They have no problem canceling something. And the
thing is, you can't cancel SmackDown.
But can they? You know, because let's say...
move to a network. You won't get cancelled. It'll just get taken off their network. That's not a cancellation.
Yeah, but you can't just move back to USA in a week after Fox says you're canceled.
I reckon they could.
You know,
I reckon Vince could.
Like, it's because there has to be, because everyone who's saying like the NXT deal was a desperation deal done in 4 weeks. That's not, nobody throws $50 million in 4 weeks out of desperation. WWE's lawyers need to look at it. Then USA's lawyers need to look at it. Advertisers need to see it. It goes back and forth. This is something that I guarantee they've been planning for a long time anyways. And it just happens to be
100%.
Yeah.
I guarantee this has been 6 months to a year in the making.
Oh, I get, yeah. And it has, and honestly, at the end of the day, it probably had nothing to do with AEW except for where they decided to put it.
The time slot is
the only thing. But NXT moving to USA, NXT is by far their most popular brand right now.
Oh, hands down.
Like, it may not make the money that Raw and SmackDown do because they don't tour, but I see typically more people like wearing NXT merch than I do main roster brand merch. I see more people online talking about NXT than I do the main roster. I
saw someone in my town, bear in mind my town is a little town on the east coast of England, wearing a Ciampa shirt.
It's becoming NXT, like where AEW has been talking about, we want to bring back the lapsed fans. NXT already did that. NXT is, you were a fan of the Attitude Era, of the Monday Night Wars and all of that junk. That's the brand for you. Every WWE brand has a specific demographic that it's targeting. And Triple H knows who he's targeting with those storylines.
He's not an idiot.
Oh, no. And that's the thing, is Vince McMahon has always been a CEO, a company man. Professional wrestling just happens to be the field that he's in, but he doesn't understand professional wrestling. He doesn't care. He cares about the business. He cares about running the business. You know, it's the reason he killed kayfabe. It's the reason he killed the territories. He did this from a business perspective. Triple H is running NXT from a wrestling perspective. He's looking at it, how do I put on the best wrestling show? How do I keep my fans happy? I don't know who Triple H is as a person. I've never met him, and you kind of hear conflicting reports, whether he's an asshole or whether he's a genuinely just like kind of nice guy. But everything I've seen of him, he cares. And I think that's the most important thing, because I'm not looking to be his best friend. I'm not looking to hang out with him. I mean, I'd do it because that'd be awesome. But like, I'm looking at what product are you giving me? You know, Triple H is, you know, the local like game store where you can buy, you know, magic cards and, you know, used video games, and everyone's super friendly, whereas Vince McMahon is Best Buy, where nobody really gives a shit if you're there or not. Like, they do the same thing, they just do it in two very different ways.
Yeah, I've always said that Triple H seems to have his finger more on the pulse of independent wrestling rather than like mainstream wrestling almost.
I think Triple H...
Vince McMahon does not have a pulse.
Pretty much. I think Triple H maybe subscribes to Powerslam.tv, which you can get a free 30 days of if you use the code BladeJob.
I almost gave the wrong code there.
Or the code Badlands.
Or the code Good Cop Bad
But
Cop.
mainly the code BladeJob.
Or the code Mags.
Or the code...
How many codes do you have?
Or the code Brainbuster.
Or the code... No, I'm kidding. I can carry on, but I'm not going to. And if Matt Attack is not a code, don't use it. You won't get nothing for it.
Yeah, use BladeJob.
Just get charged. You get charged a monthly fee.
Absolutely.
But like,
that's brilliant.
Because, I mean, you can say 100% that Triple H keeps up with Progress and Evolve because he works closely with them.
I guarantee you, he watches a lot of indie stuff. I guarantee you, because he may not be an indie. He's not an indie guy, but he likes indie talent.
Yeah,
that's his business.
He'll be watching them.
His business is to bring those guys in and turn them into international stars.
Yeah, he's going to have a team of at least a couple of people whose job is just to watch as much wrestling as possible and recommend people for trips to go on scout and to look at.
And he doesn't try to change these people, because if you watch an Adam Cole match from the past 6 months and you watch an Adam Cole match from you know, Ring of Honor or New Japan, he hasn't changed his style. The only thing that changed is he doesn't bleed. And he doesn't say fuck. Like, that's pretty much the thing that's changed.
So basically between me on this show and me on my show, basically.
It's
your Ring of Honor Matt Attack on this, and on your show you're definitely Raw and SmackDown Matt Attack.
I'll take that. I'll take that as a ringing endorsement. And nice segue, because with time getting on, I want to talk about Ring of Honor.
That's weird. Who wants to talk about Ring of Honor? Go ahead.
That's the problem. No one's talking about Ring of
It's
Honor.
because their product is shit.
But the thing is, why is it happening there? Because their talent base is still decent.
Their talent base now, compared to their talent base 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, is nowhere near the level of talent that they had.
Oh, not now. It's not as good as it used to be. I grant you that. You can say something about maybe from WWE, but they've still got some good talent there. So why is it not good anymore? Is it the fact that, as mentioned on Banned from Ringside this week, the TV stuff just isn't there?
Ring of Honor is definitely in a weird place, because they do have an NXT style roster right now where they've got a lot of the best of the indies on their show, where they've kind of, you know, it's gone from TNA started by building new stars, and now they have a lot of like WWE like failures, if you will, and
That's fair. Yeah.
Ring of Honor is now like, we've got a bunch of indie stars, but I feel like I think the biggest issue with Ring of Honor is, if you want to stay up to date with Ring of Honor, if you want to be a Ring of Honor fan, it's very expensive because they charge more than they necessarily are worth.
How much do they charge?
It's $120 a year, I think, for the Honor Club, and does that get you like 50% off the pay-per-views or something like that?
Yeah, you get 50% off the pay-per-views with a yearly fee, and the pay-per-views are still going to cost you $25.
Yeah, and the thing with Ring of Honor that winds me up and stops me really getting into it is, you can watch a pay-per-view, but then the TV is filmed before that pay-per-view took place, so you've still got like championships will change hands, but then on the TV the week after the pay-per-view, the previous champion is still there with the belt, and it's just baffling how a company like Sinclair, who could rival Tony Khan and could rival Vince McMahon for funds, it just shows that maybe money is not always the saving grace of a wrestling company.
No.
It's
important. Don't get me wrong. I'm cutting everyone today. I'm so sorry. But money isn't everything. I can't believe there's someone who loves money saying that out loud. But it's definitely something that makes me scream, because Ring of Honor, you had some of the top guys out there come through. I mean, Cody, we like him or not, he went to Ring of Honor and made it hot. They had the Elite a little while ago. I know they're all gone now.
And that's the big problem. They relied on other companies' talent to carry their product, and then when they left and became exclusive to companies that they weren't working with, Ring of Honor didn't have a backup plan.
Well, the same thing. Like, go back, once again, like 5 to 10 years ago, they were building their own stars. And, with Kevin Steen and El Generico and Adam Cole and, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, they built all these stars, but now they're not building new stars. They're kind of just spinning their wheels with the roster that they have, and they tried to pull themselves out of the shithole by bringing in Cody and the Bucks, but they were all New Japan stars. They weren't Ring of Honor stars. They were already, Cody was already a star from WWE, give or take, and they didn't know what to do. They had all this really fresh, great talent, and they didn't really capitalize on it. Like, they've got, I think they still have Willie Mack, who is phenomenal. He's a great performer, especially because he looks like a sack of shit. But he gets in the ring and he moves like, for essentially literally just a fat guy, he moves like a goddamn cruiserweight. And he's not like this super ripped big guy who can move like Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman can move when he wants to, and it's fairly impressive. But I don't feel like Ring of Honor is giving me a reason to watch them. Especially with AEW coming out now, where I can watch AEW on TNT, and then I can watch their big 4 pay-per-views for $200 a year, and all of their other pay-per-views are going to be free, because that seems to be the business model they're rolling with. And fine. You know what? Honestly, it works. Just off topic for a second, get the fuck rid of the stupid casino shit. You're not in Vegas anymore. Why are we having casino battle royale? Why are we doing this in Chicago? It made sense in friggin' oh shit, my chair's breaking. Vegas. Yeah, it made sense in Vegas. It doesn't make sense in Chicago. I don't understand that. When they announced it, I was like, oh shit, a women's battle royal for, was it number 1 contendership for the women's title?
The buy-in.
That's a great idea. I love it. I'm all for it. Why
You're
are we
all
I'm all out.
No, they heard that you were all in, but now you're not.
Sorry, there's fucking. I don't know, there's something wrong with my chair. Anyways, it boggles my mind that this is even a thing, and I think that Ring of Honor, to get back on topic, is just like I said, they're just spinning their wheels, and they're not quite sure what to do with themselves. And you mentioned Sinclair. Sounds a lot like when Ted Turner was owned WCW. You've got someone who just doesn't understand the business running the show.
Yep.
Like, they're going to see, they're going to see this name that's doing really good on the indies, and they're like, bring them in. And then you've got, I don't know, some jackass backstage head of creative going, okay, we've got this person now. What do we do with them? And
it does feel to me a lot like this battle of brands, as it were, as in the Wednesday Night Wars, as people are dubbing it. The first casualty isn't going to be AEW. It's not going to be WWE. It's going to be Ring of Honor.
Oh, for sure. I think they're on their last legs right now.
And you know what? I'm not one to mock anyone, or I've got to admit I've seen one Ring of Honor show ever, and it actually hurts to see them going under.
No, because they used to be a very good promotion. They essentially took the spot of ECW, where they were kind of like this. They've got a local TV deal, and you can catch them like here and there at 2 a.m. and shit like that outside of their market, and like they're a little gritty and a little dirty. And it was like, yeah, all right, this is great. This is awesome. And when they were in their heyday, when they had like Punk and Cabana doing 60-minute matches, I mean, it was some of the best wrestling on the planet. But they just didn't know how to maintain that. They didn't know what to do when they lost those stars that they built up. And they just ended up going, yeah, fuck it. Because they've got some great guys. They got some guys I'm huge fan of. Like Brian Malonis and the aforementioned Willie Mack. Like, I'm big fans of these guys, but it's not enough to make me go out of my way to find them and to watch them. Because it's not an easy thing to do. I can't just go on the Ring of Honor network for $10 a month and see everything. No. It's just me.
I mean, we can't even get it in the UK.
Really? You can't get Honor Club in the UK?
I don't think we can. Can we, Max?
I can't say that I've ever even tried. Like I said, it's not a product that I gravitate towards, because I just, what I've seen of it and what I've heard about it, especially in the recent years and months, I just can't get how a company of that magnitude would produce so many amazing stars. They literally had a murderer's row of wrestlers in their company, and it's a shell. It's like almost like another company with using the name Ring of Honor. So yeah, it's not going to be a product that I'll ever really watch. So I can't say I've looked for Honor Club in the UK.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's like, if I'm going to watch something with the production level of Ring of Honor, I'm just going to watch Impact at this point. It's easily accessible. I like way more of the performers. It's just, Impact is definitely in that rebuilding phase, because they also in that situation where they lost a lot of their big names and just didn't know what to do. But they're starting to bring in people who can hold a show for them. But they also bring in idiots like Rich Swann and think that they can play off of his quote-unquote WWE fame.
That's nothing to write home about. But they've also got the best women's wrestler in the world.
Yes, they have. Jordan Grace.
Oh, I
guess it's Tessa Blanchard, but...
Ugh.
What?
Ew.
Jordan Grace is a way better wrestler than Tessa Blanchard.
I have been so close to Jordan Grace, most men would have a restraining order put against him. But, yeah. But at the same time, Tessa, you're not seeing Jordan Grace on Impact taking those sort of kendo stick shots, are you?
I've seen Tessa
That's
many
not because
times.
She can't, because she hadn't the chance to. No, but I'd love to see Jordan versus Tessa.
Yeah, Tessa. I mean, I can take her or leave her. She was big in Beyond for a while because she was teaming with David Starr, and they were kind of had this little faction that they were running. And I like her. I just don't love her. She's all right. You know, I don't know. Yeah. There's like I actually that group of female talent that I was seeing at the indies a lot that have moved up to WWE or to AEW or Ring of Honor, whoever, or Impact, were like, it was Jordan, it was Tessa, Deonna Purrazzo, and Rachel Ellering. Like, those were the four that I was kind of seeing everywhere. And I Deonna Purrazzo, Jordan Grace, and Rachel Ellering are always going to be above and beyond what Tessa was offering in the ring to me.
For me, 2019 Tessa Blanchard is a poor version of 2016 Candice LeRae.
I can see that. I guess I can see that.
Graham would argue that one with you, and I mean, he would fiercely argue that one with you.
And then post a Mark Tyson gif.
Yeah. I would like to point out as well that there isn't a good cop, bad cop this week. So this is my wrestling for the week I'm doing here. So.
Oh, you must, man, this must be heartbreaking for you.
I've still got to produce Chris's show. I've still got to do Watch About Willis and everything. So I've got plenty to keep me occupied still. It's cool.
Into Lagos it went up today. So.
It dropped about half an hour ago. Yes, it was soon to
It did.
But anyway, yeah, this is. I like Tessa though.
I'm not saying that I don't like wrestling. I just don't think she's the best female wrestler in the world. I don't think she's even the best female wrestler in Impact.
That's because you think Jordan Grace is. In fairness, Jordan Grace is amazing. There's no question about that. Okay.
I am a massive Jordan Grace fan. I will say, though, that her Twitter game has made me fairly annoyed with her. I don't really care for her Twitter. It just seems to be nothing but complaining all the time.
I am a performer. The sport of wrestling is holding wrestling back or something like that.
Oh, I don't even give a shit about that kind of stuff. Like, it is what it is. But like, I sometimes forget she's only like 22. She's super young, and that's how young people act on Twitter, unfortunately. Yeah. And it is what it is. But like, you know, that doesn't take away. It's not like she's saying anything offensive. It's just, you know, she's kind of annoying. And I feel the same way about, you know, David Starr. Like, I love David Starr. He might be my favorite independent wrestler, but his Twitter is nothing but politics. And I'm not there to talk politics kind of thing. And I understand it's his Twitter account. It's his personal shit, whatever. But it just makes me... He'll tweet like one wrestling thing and then 18 political things.
Yeah. Sound like Gary Lineker in this country.
Yeah, I don't care. Like, you know, I agree with most of the points he's making, but I'm not here to talk about politics. You know, it's the reason why if your average person, whether it's a follower or not, goes on a political rant, I'll usually just unfollow them because I don't care. I don't need that bullshit on my timeline because you're not fixing anything. All you're doing is just complaining. You know,
yeah.
And it's like,
echoing. It's, with politics, I found on Twitter, it's a lot of echoing of Chinese whispers and misinformation and stuff that they haven't got a clue about. So I take nobody's political stance on Twitter as fact.
It's never a good thing, politics. Anyway, politics always does create arguments. That's why I'm very glad that me and Chris have the same political understanding. Because otherwise it makes things very awkward.
As you both know, I'll be starting my my streaming nonsense this coming week, and that was one of my top.
Did you not say that last week?
No, I've been saying August 26th, 2019, for the past 2 weeks. Thank you for paying attention to me, Dad.
That's okay, son.
But I made it clear. I think my second.
Am I, the adopted stepson at this point?
Yeah, pretty much.
What's going on here?
I put it as like the second or third rule for my chat is I don't want to hear politics. I don't want to hear talking about race. I don't want to hear talking like nothing that can start a fight. I don't want it in my chat. Like period. Because I respect everyone of gender, race, sexual orientation, even political affiliation. You know, it's like I can respect everyone, but I know that other people can't have conversations about it without it turning into just nonsense. I don't want to hear it. You know, I'm doing what I'm doing on Mixer, mixer.com/nishguy. I'm doing what I'm doing there to have fun and to interact with people and to entertain people. And if people want to talk about bullshit, they can fucking go to Twitter, or they can go to Reddit or 4chan or whatever the kids are using these days. Snurpchart. You know,
4chan, my God, how old are you?
We've already been over this. Older than most people, but younger than Mags.
And younger than me, Ryan, as well. So
yeah, but like we've got like
my birthday, haven't I? So
you're the baby of this chat.
Wait, hold on, Matt. How old did you turn?
I turned 35.
Yeah, I'm going to be 34 in like 2 months. We're not that far apart. You know,
far enough apart.
Unlike Mags, who actually might be my dad.
I am 39.
Oh man, you fucking old shit.
I feel it. I fucking feel it.
Where are all the 20-year-olds? We got a bunch of them
You have a British champion UFC fighter as your son. Of course you're old.
That's very, very true. He's not in the UFC yet, but it could happen.
Give it time. Let's not forget, some people started MMA careers very late.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it like I know what I'm talking about. I have no idea about UFC. It happened. That's all I know.
UFC stands for Brock Lesnar, the Universal fucking champion. Right?
Rude.
UFC could stand for many things. If you're going to go down that route. Dana White, especially, you fucking creep. I can carry on, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. But we have gone way off the rails. This has been the worst fucking show that we could possibly do. And TrashCan is going to be super pissed when he listens to the audio.
I take offence to that because me and Matt come on here, save your skin time and time again, and you do nothing but berate the quality of the show.
Should I just start like smashing things? What the fuck was that?
Matt's whistle.
So full time.
Need I say more?
Right now, I am blitzing my soup. It's too lumpy. So.
It will because you fucking smashed it up with a baseball bat.
Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to these two weirdos tell you where they can follow all their other shows on Twitter.
Do you want to go first this time, Matt?
Go on. I think it'll take me longer. You can find me at the Matt Attack UK. You can find me there for my shows like Intro Gossip. You can find me there for the Matt Attack UK. You can find me at Good Bad Wrestle for Good Cop Bad Cop Wrestling Podcast. Good Bad Cop the K for Good Bad Cop Football Podcast. You can find me at What You Talk About Willis with my brother James. You can find us at Willis Boys Talk with Z, not an S. Anything else I got? Oh yeah, the gaming podcast with Matt and Alex. You can find me on
Are you a member of The View?
Interlar Gossip.
That one you find at Matt Attack UK. We haven't got a Twitter set up for that one. And you can find me also producing Chris Lewis's podcast, which is at Chris Lewis 37 for Chris Talks Games. He's way better than me at talking about games. If Ryan doesn't have him on his channel at some point, I'll be very surprised.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to be playing games nonsensically, so I don't know.
That's what he does.
Does he play those stupid games where you kill each other?
Yeah, every now and again, yeah.
All right, there we go.
He loves Sonic.
Sonic.
Love a bit of Sonic. Love a bit of Sonic.
Hey, Mags. Where can we follow you on Twitter with your weird shows?
I have no weird shows, unfortunately. I only have very well professionally produced shows.
On that one.
You can find me on Twitter, my personal account at DAJ Kirkby. You can find my podcast at 5 Rounds Pod, that's the UFC one, at Why We Watch, which is it Why We Watch? Or I think it might be Why We Watch Pod. That's where I talk to content creators about how they love wrestling. And then you can find me on Badlands Pod, where we collate Mount Rushmores of wrestling. Before you sign off, though, I just want to just go over what happened with me yesterday. Me and the team at Brainbuster did an 8-hour live stream for charity. We raised, we hit our target. We set a target of $250, and we just about hit that at the last minute. Really, really impressed with everyone. Yeah, go and check it out on twitch.tv/BBRTV. You can see my technical difficulties and how me and Paul came over those adversities to be the stars of the show. So, yeah, go and check that out. And donate. Why not donate?
Yeah, donate, jerks. You cheap-ass bitches.
I bragged a lot about stuff. But no, seriously, very impressive work, Mags. And the whole of Brainbuster Radio, you guys are stars. Well done to all of you.
Yeah, I can't... I mean, I give everybody a lot. I can't get over how proud I am of everyone for coming together and we're doing some good for the community. So yeah, just a really.
That can't be.
Is that a fire alarm?
No, not yet.
Was it warning you that you're burning soup?
I haven't burnt any food.
Ladies and gentlemen, good night.
He's a chef. This guy's a chef.
This guy's chef.
UFC, the ultimate fucking chef. This is the blade job. We're out of here.
Bye-bye.
Awesome! Every Wednesday on the Wrestling Perspective Network, RJ and Michael Berry Sr. come to play on the Revisionist Booking. They rebook a wrestling pay-per-view from the past and try to make their cards awesome. Follow them on Twitter at RevisionistBook, at Michael Berry Sr., and go over to iTunes, Stitcher, and blogtalkradio.com/Wrestling Perspective Network and subscribe. Head over to whatforapparel.com/revisionistbook and check out their great apparel as well. And as always, you're welcome, and let the Revisionist Revolution begin.
Run away if you see me. Don't even say my name. Don't think that you can know me. Don't try and play that